Okay. Good morning, everybody. This is Animal Paradise. Um, I'm at Animal Paradise. I'm here relaxing. I just relaxing, and then I decided to share some points today. I've been in the farm section. The side the goats are in the morning. I gave them some were needing multivitamin. I gave them multivitamin. Some were needing deworming. I dewormed them. So I'm just relaxing down here now. I decided to make one small video. Let me share some points. Um, this is September. Prepare for what or point number one I want to share. Prepare for what your goats will be eating. Season in, season out. In the rainy season, prepare for what your goats will be eating. If you are not prepared in the rainy season, you can get some feed from anywhere to feed them. But if you're not prepared in the dry season, it will be difficult to get feed to feed your animals. Sometimes you'll be disturbed. You'll be disturbed because there'll be nothing for them to eat. There'll be no grasses. There'll be nothing. Are you seeing it? So you will not be having maybe like a lot of people are always chasing increasing the numbers of their animals while they are not preparing to increase the number of feed or stored feed that they are having. You can't be so zealous and be so happy and be so motivated to increase the number. Those numbers need to be sustained. The numbers of animals you are having, they need to be sustained. So there's a season in Nigeria where there is nothing. Everywhere will be dried. If you are not having stored feed to feed your animals, there'll be problems. The animals will now, all the things you have invested in since, some of them will not be dying, some of them will not be getting lean. All the ones you have that was very fat in the rainy season, they will not be getting lean and getting skinny because there is nothing for them to eat. Now, there are different ways you can actually prepare for feed, different ways. One, you can plant grasses, or you can do like what Joseph did, and that's a simple principle. In the days of plenty, you will store up for the days of little. It's a biblical principle, but it's actually what you should do. When the rainy seasons are here and the grasses are growing, every 90 days, no. If you plant it the first time, 90 days you harvest. From there, every 60 days. If it's a bracharia you're having, every 60 days. If it's sugar napier, super napier you're having, it's every 60 days. You will be harvesting and keeping. Super napier is good for silage. You can harvest, chop them, crush them, and use them for silage and bag them. You can use bag silage, you can use bunker, you can use any kind of silage you want to. You can even use drums. You can use drums. You can use lockable buckets. Lockable buckets. Small buckets of 20 liters, 50 liters bucket. You pack in grass inside, cover the top with nylon, press it in, let the air be out. You can do maize. You can plant maize. 1 acre, 2 acre, 3 acre, 4 acres. Your strength is able to plant it, make silage. Maize silage. Now, maize silage and super napier silage is always most of the time so good because you will not need molasses. Sometimes getting molasses is difficult. Sometimes getting real molasses is also difficult. You can get molasses that they have diluted and mixed and it's not so thick anymore. Original molasses is very thick. Most of the molasses we begin to order, you see that it's not so thick. They miss it. I don't know what they used to miss it. If it's water, I don't know. But the thing will just be light. I said it. So, but if you focus on making maize does not need molasses. And maize will make your animals to be robust. Your body will be making like very fat and making boko. Your animals will be very, very, they'll be fat and healthy in looking. If they're eating maize. The same thing with super napier. The disadvantage with super napier is if you have a plantation of super napier, the only way it can be useful to your goats is when you use it to make silage. If you chop them with a silage machine and feed it to them without making silage, they will eat some parts and leave a lot of leftovers that they cannot chew. But if you use to make silage, the sugarcane part of it, like permitting to use the sugarcane, the stump, that thing that looks like a sugarcane, the stump of it, silage will make it soft. When the goats are eating it, they'll be enjoying it and eating it lovingly. If you use super napier to make silage. Then we have bracharia. Depends on the kind of bracharia you're having. I personally think that bracharia is very good to preserve it. You used to make hay. If you used to make hay, you dry it. That's when you will get more out of it. Because if you use that bracharia to make silage, there will be a lot of water. You know, silage used to have water that comes out of it. There will be a lot of water in bracharia silage. Sometimes those people who are experts in making silage, they will add powdered things to it. There are some dried corn stalk, other dry grasses that they grind to powder. As they are making bracharia silage, there will be you need molasses to make bracharia silage. Actually, they'll be adding molasses and adding that powder to mix up with it. The powder is a product of any eatable plant that is dried from for goats. I mean, any grass that is eatable they can eat. You grind it into powder with a hammer mill. You get it out and then you sprinkle it on the silage. As you are sprinkling the molasses on it, you also sprinkle those dry powder on it. The dry powder will help to mop up the water, to help to mop up the extra water that used to come out from bracharia silage. That's that. But if you have a place to really dry bracharia grass to get hay out of it, it is very, very good for hay. It is very, very good for hay. So you can store feed by silage, hay, and also you can also grind. Like we here in Animal Paradise, what we do some of the times, we have a machine we use in grinding cassava peels. We grind those cassava peels into smaller particles, because if you feed it to them in the bigger particles, they will chew some and leave some. So, but if you grind it to smaller particles, they'll be broken down. That broken down, you can dry it with sun. If you dry it with sun, you store it. I think they call it HQPC, but you store it, high quality cassava peels. And then if you don't have a place to store it, you can actually fry it. We have a frying pan. That frying pan they're using to fry gari, the Nigerian people can relate with that language. There is a big frying pan they're using frying gari, turning cassava to gari. That same frying pan, you can use it to toast those pressed cassava peas that you've grinded. You press, after grinding it, you dewater it. After dewatering it, it becomes like a cake. You grind it again and then you put it on those frying pans and you toast it. When you feel that it is dry, you pack it out and spread it on the ground. Let it get cold. Let it get cold. If it gets cold, the heat will leave, and then if you store it, it will not have any kind of a moisture or mold on it. And so after toasting it on the frying pan, then you spread it. You spread it somewhere for it to the heat should go down, should get cold. Then you pack it in a bag and you keep it. That's for cassava peels. If you're in a company, you can also get brewery waste. If you're close to the company where they make brewery, or you have access to it, you can actually dry brewery waste and pack them in bags. They are dried ones. They come wet. They'll supply you wet, but you dry it. Use any kind of drying processes you have to dry. Dry it and put them in bags. Keep them. And keep them. And keep them for your animals. You will need to feed them something in the dry season. You will need to. And so many other things you can go around to dry. You can dry different things you know that animals your goats will eat. Just be creative about it. You don't have to just say, is this good, is that good? Creative about it. Be creative about it. We know what goats do eat in our as we are growing up. We know some of the things that goats do eat. So if you know some of those things, and then you can dry them and keep them for your goats. During the dry season, you have something to feed them with. And then goats used to eat dry grass. In the dry season, if your goats are grazing, they can go to their grazing land and still eat some of those dry grasses. They will still find something to chew They'll find something to chew. That's the one of the differences between Nigerian dwarf, Sokoto red, Boa goat, Kalahari goat. All these breed that we've mentioned, the Nigerian dwarf is very selective when it comes to eating. They can go to a place, they just pick one or two things and live there. That's who they are. They move around to be picking. While the Sokoto red goes to his place and eats well. He can eat more from a particular place. What the Nigerian dwarf will not eat, the Sokoto red will eat it. Are you seeing it? The same thing with the Boa and the Kalahari. What a Boa will not eat, the Kalaharis will finish it. And most of the times, if you put if you chop feed and then you serve a particular quantity to a Boa and serve the same quantity from the same chop feed to a Kalahari, the Boa will have a leftover. The Kalahari will not have a leftover. The Kalahari will eat everything, but the Boa will be selective and pick and be selective. The same thing with our local animals, the Nigerian dwarf and the Sokoto red. They are selective. In the dry season, the Sokoto red will go into the field and we get filled. They will have something to eat. The Nigerian dwarf will be pacing around, eating small thing, pacing around. At the end, he will be looking on not properly fed. So, if you're doing all these animals, dry season, open your door, let them go out and graze. And then I must say this, I am not a fan of zero grazing. If you're starting with zero grazing, you're allowing them to, you're putting them in a place, you're giving them feed there, especially the Nigerian dwarf, you're giving them feed there, fine. Plan to move them to a place where they can be eating freely, moving out freely. They are not, the Nigerian dwarf is not that animal you lock up in one place and you don't let it will not be growing well. It will be having miscarriages. You will not be getting a return on your investment on time. In a whole year, it may even just get pregnant throughout the whole year. You say, this goat is pregnant too. It's pregnant. This goat is pregnant too. 3 months after, you will see come and say, this goat is pregnant too. It's pregnant. Yes, it's pregnant. 5 months after, you see come. 7 months after, the goat will just be pregnant all through. A whole year will pass. The Nigerian dwarf will not give birth because it's just there, not eating properly. Because it's not eating properly, sometimes it will not come on heat on time or even come on heat well. And if you don't feed them well, it affects when they come on heat. Sometimes it may come on heat, the male will serve it, it will lose the pregnancy. After maybe 2-3 months, because it's not feeding well, the pregnancy will fall off. The blood, it is only blood that will just come out from this from the anus area. Blood will just come out, and then some other goats will lick it up. They will think it's that thing that comes out when they give birth. As the thing fall, the blood fall on the floor, the other goats will just lick it up. They will lick it up. So feed your animals well, especially if you are not available in your farm. Some of those people who are doing backyard farms, they put goats in the house where they live on zero grazing. They do better than people who have zero grazing, employ a worker, and they are not there. The owner is not there. And those workers will not actually, some of them, when they are tired, they won't do what they are supposed to do. And some of them will do what they are supposed to do, but they won't do it to the right quantity. But just plan to put if you want to do ruminant farming, in commercial ruminant farming, land is one of the things you get. Get a very big land where they can go around. Let them go around and eat. Then plant what they will pick. Plant grasses that they will pick. Plant it. Recently, I come to understand that alfalfa, alfalfa is actually growing in Nigeria. It's not just growing, it's doing well. Nigeria is blessed with a fertile land. If you see the alfalfa field doing well as they plant it, is growing. Are you seeing it? So if you can lay your hands on alfalfa, alfalfa is the best grass for goats all over the world. It's the best grass for goats. I don't have it in my farm actually. I just went to somebody's farm and I saw it. But I'm going to tell him to help me bring some. Let me plant. I somehow like alfalfa more than Brachiaria mulato too. I somehow like alfalfa more than that. So if you can lay your hands on alfalfa, lay your hands on it. How do you lay your hands on it? Find your relatives that is in countries like Canada and the US. Tell them to send you I think is tell them to send you some seed. It may be kgs. I think the Americans don't mention in kg, but whatever they mention in, get it down to your place. Let your people send it down to you, or let them put it in their hand pack when they are coming to Nigeria. Let them bring some for you. You can actually plant to maximize the planting. You can actually plant one seed in a nursery. One seed in a nursery. Once it grows, you can transplant it. Take, for instance, you can use an ordinary ground as a nursery. You can buy those transparent small cup that they are using for parties. There are some guys that use a transparent cup for parties to serve wine. It's transparent. It's a small cup. You can actually use that as a nursery. Put small hole on the under, fill it with sand. Put one seed of the alfalfa or even the Bracharia mulatto too. Put one seed on it, and then be using a hand sprayer to spray water on that grass every morning and every evening. It's a kind of a nursery. It will germinate. Then you not transplant it. So the seed you buy will actually go far and cover a lot of space. It will take time to get thick, but anyhow, you can maximize it because some of those seeds are not so expensive, cheap or pocket friendly in our country. Some of them can be so expensive. They can be so expensive. So if you lay your hands on it, it is better to maximize it. Unlike the normal grass that we have, that we just plant it and just put a lot of seed in the track and be going. It will come out thick, but if you use the other method of transplanting it, it will still multiply later. And then at this point, I'm going to say this, that there are some seeds you will plant. When that seed germinates and grow and produce seed, the seed it will produce will not grow, does not germinate. If you replant it, it will not germinate. There are some plants like that, especially that Bracharia mulatto too. There are some of the varieties, I cannot say all because I have not seen all. So some of the ones we have seen, when you plant the Bracharia, you buy the seed from a company. I think it has color. It has color. When you plant that grass, the grass will grow very well, very beautiful. But when the grass produces seed, the seed it produces will not germinate. So what you do is actually to transplant. When you plant one of the seed, there is a way you're going to cut it when it starts producing and replant it. You replant it, and that's how to multiply it. That is that on that seed. So that's that on preparing for the seasons. Prepare for what your animals will eat. Season in, season out. Season in, season out. And then if you're a smallholder farmer, maybe a backyard farmer, like we always, with the language we use, or somebody say there's nothing like backyard farm, you can actually be going around in your neighborhood picking things. There's something here I wanted to show. Okay, maybe can somebody bring that back for me? Bring that stuff for me. That's this thing. You can go around picking things. If you're a smallholder farmer, picking things, giving it to your goats to eat. Then go to this one. No, this one is this one. Yeah, that's cocoyam stuff. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay, yeah, I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, this is cocoyam peels, and these guys peel cocoyam. They keep it. We're going to pour it to our goats as a snack. They'll eat it as a snack. Yeah, but if you go to where they are frying yams, frying potato, some people, there's a woman that used to give me bags of potato peels those days, before they chased her away from where she was frying those potatoes. She will actually fry bags of potatoes. I'll bring them to the house. I'll spread it. Let it spread it out of the bag, because if it's in the bag, the heat will affect the condition. So I'll spread it out. Sometimes I'll get like 7 bags, big rice bags, like 7. I'll spread it out outside, gather it together later, bring it to the farm, just turn it around, turn it on the floor. The goat will be eating and they'll be enjoying. I've seen it. You can do that for, if you're a smallholder farmer, you have goats, not so many. You can be using that to subsidize their feed. But if there are so many, it does not make sense. You cannot go and get 3 bags of potato peels to feed 500 goats. You just pour it in, and the ones that can get there will finish it before that. So some others will not even be able to get anything out of it. So that's that for smallholder farmers. Go to where they are peeling corn, selling corn, gather it up. Go to where they are cooking. there is this Yoruba pattern of cooking rice. They parboil their rice. They will parboil it in many water. At the end, they will drain the water. They will drain the rice out of the water. That drain water, very good for goats. Very good for goats. That parboiled rice, when they drain it, just turn it, give it to your goats to eat. Some people will even put wheat offal inside that drain rice, that water, drain water of parboiled rice. They'll give it to their goats to eat. It makes them get fatter, make them look big. And then that's that. You can buy feed too. If you have not prepared well, you can buy feed. All those bags that are selling at the caras, they buy feed your goats. But anyhow, it is better to plant grasses and prepare those grasses for silage and hay, or by making silage and hay for the goats to eat. Prepare. The dry season is coming. The dry season is coming. Prepare. If you still want to plant grass, it's still possible, because right now in Nigeria, October is a rainy season now. Yeah, if you still want to plant grass in Nigeria, you can plant this September, and before the ending of, sometimes in November there still used to be rain. If you have not planted, you still want to plant now, you can plant now. They will take root. They will take root. No, we are seeing September, October, November. There's still some rains. Sometimes even in December there still used to be rain in Nigeria. So if you have not planted, you can plant now, and between now and December 1st, you still have like 3 days or 90 days, 3 months or 90 days, you can still harvest a fraction of it. So my fellow farmers, prepare for what your goat will be eating in the dry season. This is Animal Paradise Farm. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Animal Paradise Farm YouTube. We have Animal Paradise on Facebook too. Any video we upload on YouTube, we always send it to the Facebook too. And then we have Animal Farmers Association on Facebook. Help us to join the group. On WhatsApp, we have 4 groups on WhatsApp. We have Animal Paradise Mentorship Club, Animal Paradise Forum, Animal Paradise Farm, and another one again. There are 4 there in the WhatsApp group. You can call and join anyone you'd like to join. Each of them have their different functions, and they have their different functions. We saw over the times that we cannot just put everything in one place, so there are different functions. So that's that for the WhatsApp. If you send me a message on the WhatsApp, I'll explain more on the functions and the conditions to join each of the group. It's not all the group that is made for each. It's not the services of each of those group that is that everybody should access. Access the one that you need for what you're doing. So that's that for that. This is Animal Paradise. Thank you for watching our videos. Bye bye.